Now sometimes it can be a little confusing as to when to use lists and when to use tuples. Since tuples are quite similar to lists, both of them are used in similar situations. However, there are certain advantages of implementing a tuple over a list. So let me give you some of the main advantages. Now firstly, we generally use tuples for heterogeneous data types, which basically means we store different data types within them. Now lists, however, are usually used for homogeneous data types, so types which are similar or the same in nature. Now this will become very apparent if you start diving into the world of data analytics using libraries such as pandas, but we can save this for another course. So when storing items in a tuple or a list, work out whether they will store different types. If it's the same type, then a list will usually be the better option. If they are of a different type, then a tuple usually works better. Now secondly, since tuples are immutable, iterating through a tuple is actually faster to perform than iterating through a list. Now the difference is hardly noticeable on small datasets, but it can save time on larger stores of data. Now we will explore the concept of iteration when we get to the control flow section, so keep this performance benefit in mind. Now thirdly, tuples that contain immutable elements, so things like integers or strings, can be used as a key for a dictionary. So let me show you what I mean. If I create a dictionary called my_dict, and I set this to a set of curly braces, inside of this dictionary I can now type a key and a value. For the key, I'm going to create a tuple with the values 1, 2, and 3. I can then put a colon, and for the value, I will simply put the string hello. When we run my_dict, you can see that we get a valid dictionary. And if I was to try to access the value that's associated with the tuple with the values 1, 2, 3, I'm able to place this inside square brackets, and you can see that we obtain the value hello. Now if I go back up to the original dictionary definition and replace the brackets for square brackets, you can see we run into a type error, and it states that we're working with an unhashable type, list. Now I've included some documentation in the resources section if you're keen to explore what this error means. Now a simple way to think of when to use a tuple versus a list is as follows. Do I want the data inside the data structure to change? If you have data that doesn't change, implementing it as a tuple will guarantee that it remains write protected, as it is immutable and you can't change it. If you want more flexibility and you want the values inside of the data structure to change, then storing in a list would be better as they are mutable objects.